Welcome, everybody. My name is Lily Slavin. I'm here hosting our Ask the Expert session with some of our adults with charge. So today I'll be turning it over to our panelists to introduce themselves. And then I will be asking them some questions that were submitted in advance. And throughout this session, you can put your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And if you're wanting captions, you can enable that by clicking on the captions button and say show captions. All right, so the Ask the Expert series is one that we do once a month. We bring in different experts related to CHARGE syndrome. And today we're really lucky to have a panel of experts in charge who have charge themselves. What I'm going to do is I will turn it over to Bethany and Katie to briefly introduce themselves, and then I will start asking the questions. So Bethany, I will turn it over to you first if you want to unmute and tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bethany and I live in Palm Bay, Florida. And we are safe from the hurricane, just in case you guys are wondering. I know everybody's has that on their mind. I am a mom to 3 amazing boys, ages 10, 13, and 15. Let's see, I'm a mental health coach. So I get to work with counselors, mental health professionals on a daily basis. And I just love being with my voice. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Bethany. Glad you are staying safe with the weather right now. All right, and I will turn it over to Katie.
Hi, Katie Beacon, and I'm Michigan, and I and
Katie, your audio is coming through a bit jumbled. It's coming through a bit jumbled. I wonder if you could try that again.
Okay. Hi, I'm Katie Beacon, and I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I work at a facility for 15 years. And years, with cats, hurricane and tornado. Yeah, I live alone. I'm able to drive, get to where I need to be. Here and there, and yes, and
So Katie, some of that was coming through pretty jumbled. I'm wondering if as you're getting as you're having some answers that you want to say, if you want to also maybe type some in the chat so I can read it out. I want to make sure that we're able to hear what you have to say. We got some of that. But for now, if you for Katie, if you wanted to type some things in the chat for folks to see, and I can read it out, and then I'll have Simone introduce herself next. Okay. All right. Welcome, Simone. If you wanted to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Simone. Um, I'm 30 years old. I have Tourette syndrome. Um, if you can't tell, I just came off of school at work. And, I'm a pediatric nurse. I'm from New York. Uh, I'll, I'll do one with introduction.
That's okay. We're going to have plenty of time to get to know you all more with more specific questions. So thank you all for coming and making time for this today. We're really looking forward to answering some of the questions that we have. And for attendees, we really want this to be a time for you to be able to ask your questions. So ask away, and I'll intersperse questions from the audience as everyone is answering their questions today. All right, so maybe we can start with having each of you tell us a little bit about what advice you might give yourself or your caregivers when you were younger. We know that growing up with charge in a world that's not made for people with charge is really tough, and I'm sure that there's lots of things that maybe in hindsight you wish could have been done differently. So what might you say to your younger self or your caregivers? Maybe we can start with Simone.
Um, One thing that's I could say that shows my caregivers or my parents is that there's always well, as my dad says, there's always a way at the end of the tunnel. Even when you think it's like really, 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 really bad, it's not gonna be bad. Just
Thanks, Simone. And then before I go on, I got Katie's kind of introduction in the chat. Thanks for sending that. So I'll just want to take a moment to read that out. Katie says, my name is Katie. I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have been working at the laundry for 15 years, and I've been living in my house for 6 years with my 2 cats. Thanks for doing that, Katie. All right, and then Bethany, do you want to take a stab at the question about advice for your younger self?
Yeah. Wow. I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give my younger self is to quit trying so hard to fit in. I think I tried so hard to be like everybody else, to see like everybody else, to hear like everybody else, to have balance like everybody else. And I think I missed out a lot on just learning who I was until much later on in life. And I think a lot of that actually came from watching my youngest kiddo, who has bilateral hearing loss, and watching him become himself. And as a mom, like getting to go with him, and he got to choose bright colored hearing aids, where when I grew up, we had to find ones that blended in, to hide it. And he's at a brand new school this year, and he loves going to tell all of his friends that he has the new AirPods. I love it. I'm just like, yes. And so, not that it was wrong, but I think I grew up in a different era. And I'm so glad kids nowadays, I think, and I hope, have more of a chance to embrace who they are instead of hiding behind who they're not.
I love that answer, and that your son sounds really lucky to have a parent who gets it. and who can kind of help him embrace that part of his identity. So that's really nice to hear. All right, Katie, should we give a shot? Have it seeing how your audio works?
The rice I will give myself probably I was trying to get again. We try to meet people, try to be on measure, try to talk and know your level. And,
Katie, it's breaking up again. So I'm wondering if you might put it in the chat. And I'll text you too to see if we can maybe come up with another idea, because I want to make sure we're hearing what you have to say. All right, great answers so far. And we already have several questions in the chat, which is awesome. So Braden asks, how do you find your true interest? I don't know if anyone wants to take that one first. Feel free to unmute.
Yeah. That's such a great question. I have so many ideas running through my head right now. But one thing I would say is don't be afraid to experiment. For instance, start with something that you think you might enjoy, that's easy, and take that first step. You can even ask those who know you the best and try to come up with a list of like 5 or 6 different things that you just want to try. You're not committing. You're not going to sign up for like a 6-month deal or anything like that. You're just going to agree to try it once. And I kind of try to do this once in a while just to remind myself that there's other stuff out there. So like I'll try to do a pottery class, or I've been skydiving, or I've been like parasailing or electric biking. Like I do weird stuff like that. But I do it with friends. And so if anything, it could be an experience that we all get to talk about later. And when you do it with other people, you may get to find out what they like too. And they encourage you along the path too. So I don't know if that helps.
We have to tell what feels good in our soul. We have to really listen to yourself. And it's going to sound a little contradicting coming from me, because I struggle with self-identity issues. And so, I say this to you, and I also struggle with it myself. But honestly, you really just have to do what feels good in your soul, to try to conform to what other people around you are interested in, what they like, what they don't like. You just really have to do what feels good to you, and be true to yourself.
Awesome. I love both of those answers. And it's such a great question too. I think that's something that a lot of people coming into adolescence and adulthood deal with is, how do I find what I actually like to do? That's a time when you're actually given more independence and more opportunities to do the things that you want to do. So I love what both of you had to say about trusting yourself and trying out different things. It's really a lot of trial and error. Before we go on to the next question, Katie was able to send me her answer for advice to her younger self. So she said that her advice to her younger self would be to meet new people, have conversations with others, learn to communicate, accept the help that she needed in school, and also just accept herself. Thanks for sending that, Katie. All right, we have our next question in the chat is, do you live independently? And how old were you when you moved out of your parents' house? Simone, maybe we can start with you.
If I could still live at my parents' house, I would. That's right. I was about 27 when I moved out of my parents' house. Um, Officially, like, mo going back, mo going away to, because I did go away to college. And I did leave as I moved in with my boyfriend. But officially I went at 27, and it was because my father had remarried, so he left our family house to me and my sister, and we decided that it was just best to sell the house, and we went our separate ways. And yeah, I've been doing that since I was 27. I live alone with my dog, and it's been an experience. I live alone. I could have roommates, but I chose to pay for the luxury of not having roommates. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Well, I love all that. So me and you gotta hang out. I think we can just think of that. Okay, sorry. I wish we were closer. Okay. Okay, I have to focus. I did go to college, so I technically, I guess you could say, moved out. But in all honesty, those of y'all who've experienced college dorm life, I don't know if that's really moving out. So I don't really count that. But after I graduated, I actually moved all the way to the other side of the country and accepted a job at a small little church. I was their youth pastor for a while. And so it was my first apartment all by myself. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know, like, for the first time, there wasn't somebody like close by that I could like ask for help. So a lot of it was trying to find my own way. And for the first time, actually having to find an alarm that would wake me up, which was very interesting because I usually had people. So I just remember having trouble with that. I cooked raw chicken a couple times, so I learned the hard way about that. I had to learn just the basics, but I'm still here. That's what's amazing. I'm still here. So I think a lot of it is just learning from your own mistakes, but also getting creative. Because I remember the first time I got a Fitbit, then it vibrated, and I forgot, I think my kids were here, and they're like, thank you. Because when my alarm went off, the whole house was up. And so they had to like transition to like, they could sleep, like everybody got to sleep. So it was amazing. So just those little things, and you can do it. Like, you can have people around you that encourage you. And I wish there's one thing I could change, it would be to go back and admit to someone that I trusted that I was scared and that I needed help, rather than trying to do it all myself. Because there are a lot of things I probably could have learned a whole lot quicker if I just ask somebody to help. So yeah.
Katie, do you want to try unmuting and answering? Otherwise, I can read a text that you sent.
Uh, yes, we, uh, uh, just want to go back to school. Or switch up elementary.
Yeah, sorry, Katie. I think it's still pretty jumbled, so I can go ahead and read your text. Sorry about that.
Um, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no, no, but,
All right, thanks for trying, Katie. I know that the tech issues are no fun. I appreciate you working with us. Uh, so Katie had also texted me her answer. And she had said that she moved out when she was 21 years old and was living with a roommate. And then she's been living in an apartment since then. Yeah, thanks, Katie. All right, we've got another, man, we've got so many questions in the chat today. This is great. All right, we have a question. Someone saying, hi everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. I wonder what you might have to say to parents whose children might not be as independent or successful as you. For example, not everyone will be a nurse. So awesome, Simone. What might you say to those parents? And Katie, I'll have you mute yourself because we're getting a little bit of feedback. So either Bethany or Simone, you can feel free to jump in with that. And Katie, I'll have you text your answer.
Facility for children who are medically complex. Children they cannot live at home. And this is their home. This will be their home. And I have worked in home homes and other long-term care facilities. And my advice to parents is to start early. No parent wants to think about, what's going to happen to my child when I'm no longer able to care for them, when I'm no longer here to care for them. But sometimes we have to think about the inevitable and have to start putting things in place and the process to um, have future plans for your child who may not be able to live independently is long process, trust me. But the thing about it is that no matter what limitations if you or your child may have, there's one thing that they can't do. They may not be able to, be as independent as other adults, but they can still live very, 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 very fulfilling lives. And, and like, there's so many resources. You just have to get in contact with your local. Every state is different, but you just have to get in contact with your local resources, I guess. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Simone.
There we go. Okay. Sorry. Um, trying to process what's going on through my mind right now. I'm wondering, as a parent myself, but also as someone, with special needs, I guess is the proper term now, who gets to define what success looks like? Like, I'm just, like, I asked myself that question as I was hearing that question out loud. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but all I know in my life is that when I had those people who believed in me, like, yeah, it was awesome people believed in my dreams, but there have to be people that believe in me before I can even dream to begin with. And so I think one of the things as parents, as caregivers, as people that love well, we get to walk along with people, as the question was answered or was discussed earlier. How do I find my interests? How do I find what I'm good at? It's those people that walk tightly with that person, but also with one another. Because honestly, I'm 41. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm just keeping it real, but I do have people that believe in me. I have dreams, and some of my biggest supporters right now are my 3 boys, who remind me every morning and have seen some of the struggles I've had to go through lately. And they go, Mom, you're impacting the lives of people. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I think the way they found that was because, not all because of me, but because I value that so much. So I don't know if that encourages anybody right there, but also I think just the tighter you walk with someone and the freedom you give them to understand who they are and walk with them through that, that's what success really looks like. It's not in our eyes for that person, but it's what they see and how they see the world around them. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome, great answers. And I'm still waiting for Katie's text to come through, so I will read that as soon as it is. In the meantime, Bethany, there's a question for you from Gannon, who is 14. He's wondering if any of your kids have Charge syndrome.
There we go. Just keeping it real. The very first Charge Syndrome Foundation conference I ever went to was a couple weeks ago. It seems like it's been a couple weeks ago, but it's about a month ago now, right? How is that happening? And after going was really the first time I thought about it, like actually having them, do the tests. But I will say I do have kiddos with, like, my youngest has bilateral hearing loss. My middle kiddos on the autism spectrum. And so they do all have different needs in different ways. And that's what's been really neat, because even if, like, for instance, I have bilateral hearing loss, but I'm completely different than my kid. He hears differently than I do. And so it's been like a real interesting way of communicating with each other, because it's not like you can just read a book and understand one another. It's really about that relationship. And so that's been kind of cool seeing that develop too. So sorry, long answer to that question, but I am thinking about getting them tested. So thanks for asking.
So we might have updated information about that in
Yep.
in coming conferences.
Yes.
All right, next question. These are great questions coming in and great answers. This is fun. This is the most questions that I've ever seen come through on one of these. All right, question. What is the most important thing that your parents did when you were little that helped you as you grew up?
most important thing my parents did was there's no word to say. There's no such thing as normal. But I'm going to say my parents treated me as if they had no limitations. Um, I was they had two older sisters, and my parents still held the same high expectations of me as they did for my older sisters. I still had to wash dishes. Um, I still had to keep my room clean. I still had to break home good grades. I still had to walk the dog. Um, I was still expected to do the same things, and even more so, they kind of pushed me a little bit more because the way that they raised me, they understood that the world is not made for someone like me. They understood that people would try, try to take advantage or, see as inadequate. And they wanted to prepare me for that. So that's why they never treated me any differently or, feel sorry for me or allowed me to feel sorry for myself. Um, they, I remember keeping that discipline the same as my parents, as my sisters. And yeah, they just they just were like, who cares if you have a treat? You're gonna wash dishes anyway. So, and my sisters too, my sisters treated me the same. I still got beat up by my sisters. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Simone. I'm sure you were sometimes wishing that maybe you can get out doing some of those dishes. It sounds like. um, Katie had shared that her parents have helped her by encouraging her and pushing her to get to next milestones, and especially when it's hard to kind of just keep on going. Thanks for sending that in, Katie. All right, Bethany.
I did do dishes too. Like, what's up with that? Okay, so I was just thinking about that. I'm like, man, and I can never do them right for some reason. I still had to do them anyway. Let's see. So yeah, I think it was really looking back, like there was no exceptions. Like, like I remember doing, I think I shared this at the conference, doing a soccer throw-in. And they're like, okay, it has to go all the way behind your head. And I'm like, I have one arm, one hand that's like noticeably short and smaller than the other. And I'm like, what? Just like, just gonna throw it in with that one hand. They're like, no, you can't do that. You have to go all the way behind. And I'm just like, but looking back at that now, like it's good, and I've had to learn how to trust people, but also I'm just like, I really have to think hard about what I can't do, because it's almost like a challenge. Like if somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm just like, oh, well, let's go. And it's gonna, but it was also because it was so normal. Like they're just like, they treated me normal like everybody else. And it really wasn't until later on in life that I had to learn, not that I'm not normal, or I don't even like that term, but I had to learn, just some of the vision depths of field and balance issues and just some of that kind of stuff. I learned it much later on in life because I just had to push past it and kind of fit that normal grade. But at the same time, I look at where I am now and I'm going, okay, like I got to experience a lot. And so, yeah, so that was probably one of the greatest things my parents gave me, is just that hope and just to go and do, and yeah, do the best you can.
Awesome. All right, we have a fun one next. There's some people who are wondering about if you all like to travel, if you have any tips for traveling alone or independently.
Yes, I'll answer this a little bit. I the last couple of years have had to learn how to use a white cane. Oh, and by the way, if you ever, okay, I do travel alone, and if you ever fly, you can put on the ticket that you have, like vision loss, hearing loss, all that good stuff. And depending on the airline, you get treated like amazing. I wish I would have known, like, you know, those videos like, you don't know this hack. Okay, y'all, seriously. And when I travel alone, I'm like, yes to the yes. Like, that doesn't happen when I travel with my boys. They're looking at me like, oh, you poor thing. But when I'm by myself, it's like, let us clean the seat off for you. Let us make sure you know where you're going. It is amazing. So anyway, sorry, it has its perks. Okay. And a lot of it's just knowing like how to share what you need, like when I'm traveling, because people really do want to help. One really quick story. So I was in the airport. It's one of the first times I was ever using my white cane, and I think I do have some vision. And so the guy was in front of me, and I was going to steer around this big sign, and he literally thought I was going to run into it and didn't realize I had a little bit of, and he was like slow motion, like running, and dove in front of me to prevent me from hitting the sign. And I stopped and I looked and waved, hi. And he was just like laughing. And so, but it was a great conversation because he'd never met anybody that had a white cane that had low vision. Like, he didn't understand even what that was. So I'm amazed when I travel, just some of the stories and just educating people about what charge is, what low vision is, what, you know, just have these conversations because people are curious and we get to travel and tell people. And it's pretty neat.
Awesome. That is like, oh, go ahead, Simone. No, you're good. I was just saying, nice to hear about some of the perks of travel, but want to hear what you have to say too. Go ahead, Simone.
My worker, I'm born and raised in um, Westchester County, which is very, very close to New York City. So I grew up taking public transportation with my mom, who had a license, but didn't like to drive. So I grew up learning how to travel on public transportation. So when I became an adult, it was just like, you gotta go on this train, you gotta take this bus, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I never really traveled by myself. My family is very paranoid. They're like, somebody's gonna chop you up. You can't go out. You can't go alone. You can't go out there and stand by yourself. Blah blah blah. So, my first time traveling alone was in 2017 to the Charlotte Central Conference, and oh my god, it was the best experience ever. I love traveling alone. There's no way. There's no itinerary. Okay, if I want to, I can sleep. Okay, so I don't drive. So I used to be scared to drive. But now I can drive anywhere that Google Maps takes me. So as long as there's shopping involved, I will go anywhere by myself, driving. It's fine. And also to read and reiterate to what Bethany was saying. Um, when I was in my early 20s, I was a little bit like, oh, what can I say that I have a disability and special needs. And that they don't wanna, take part in the talks because I felt like I was taken away from the service someone really needed. But then one day I was just like, whatever. If I have a disability, if I require assistance, oh my god, I was treated like a first class citizen. They were like, do you need help? Would you please? Um, the first time I ever did that, they had to record with me ticket, and they switched me to first class. So yeah, now I will always um advocate that they need assistance.
Love that. That is awesome. Wanted to hear I think this will be an interesting conversation. Someone asked how important charge syndrome is to your identity. And I'm also just curious if that's changed over time. Like maybe is that different now as an adult versus when you were younger?
When I was younger, I very much struggled to fit in. I grew up in the suburbs as a African American, which in our culture, that means that I'm not very cultured to say. Um, so I struggled with that. And then also on top of that, I have a disability. So everything, I struggled a lot to fit in. And I never wanted to be a part of quote unquote the disabled world or identify as somebody with a disability. I tried really, really hard to fit in with the uh, able-bodied crew and do all the things that, you know, certain people, my parents and my caregivers were like, I don't think you can swim with the drink small. So, it was them. Now, as a 30-year-old woman who is a little bit more secure and happier and doesn't really care what people think, I, I went amateur center. I thank God every day that my chromosomes are scrambled. It made me to take a while to experience things that other people would have. And I consider myself very lucky. And I very much tell everybody that I see that my name is small. They really sound like this in my insurance center.
So good, Simone. Oh, and thanks for giving me time to process my answer too. So like Simone, actually, I believe I grew up feeling like I didn't have a place. Charge syndrome wasn't in my vocabulary growing up. I didn't know what it was. I was confused as to what was wrong. I use that terminology, but what was wrong with me? I didn't understand how God can make so many mistakes with one person. And so a lot of my growing up was trying to do it right or try to do it good enough in order to fit in, because I didn't want to be taken advantage of. I didn't want to live up to the names that I was called once in a while. I wanted people to look up to me instead of them down. And so I did everything I could to kind of prove my identity that way. And when I got older, I learned that that idea really kept me farther from people. And it had me kind of put on a mask because I had to be strong all the time. And that's just not human. Nobody can be that strong all the time. And we all deserve that safe place where we can be seen for the person that we truly are. Abilities aside, who we truly are, the people that's longing to find a place to belong and to be seen and to be heard and to be known. And when I eventually found that, and it took a while, I found that better way of thinking, a new way of thinking differently, not only about myself, but also about the people around me, and how so many people that may have said hurtful words or try to define me into a little box really were speaking from pain points. And when I found that out, and I found the idea of just how hard the mental health care system is struggling, that's what got me to where I am today. And I look back and I go, wow, like if I was made any differently, I don't know if I would have found this track. I don't know if I would have found these connections that I have today, because some of my very own clients have physical challenges or mental challenges or whatever you want to call it. And they're like, I don't want to talk to other people. I want to talk to you because you get me on a deeper level. And I'm like, wow, like, okay, I didn't ask for that, but this is amazing. And so if I can just give hope to one person that way. And so, no, I do not see my identity as charged, but I'm also now, not all the time, but now thankful for what it has taught me and where it has brought me. And my boys know there are days that I am not very thankful, but in the big scheme of things, I'm thankful for what it's done. Good question, by the way, whoever asked that.
Yeah, great question. And Katie had messaged me. I had missed out on some of the sounds before getting my cochlear implant. Still have trouble hearing in loud environments, and conversation in big groups or with extended families. Really wish that I could be included in the conversation more. Yeah, that's a I can see that would be tough. It's the accessibility piece can be really, really hard. I imagine, especially in more like informal kind of social settings. All right, well, this time is flying by. We only have about 10 minutes left. So I'm scrolling through the questions to see if we can fit in a couple more. Just wanted to say to the interpreters, you're getting a lot of shout outs in the Q&A. So you're doing a great job. Want to give you some pats on the back. Okay, let's see. Simone, looks like you have a cousin on here, Annette. She's very proud of you and you have accomplished a lot. Just wanted to say that. All right, a more logistical question. Do you all, if you have hearing aids, do you leave them in your hearing aid case before you go out for things like jogging or shoveling the driveway in the winter? Any advice or thoughts about that?
Okay, so I do. Hearing aid wearers unite. All right, so I can't grab it for y'all, but I have like I don't know the proper terminology, guys, but I think it's like a hearing aid dryer. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It has it's like a little box. Thank you, Simone knows. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so it has its little box, right? And it has a lid, and it has a little UV, I call it a UV light. Simone, you can correct me out, but it has a little light and it has another button, and it just sucks all the humidity out because I live here in Florida. And so growing up, I had these big old hearing aids on the side of my glasses, and those were horrid. There were no good technology. So half the time, I don't think those suckers worked. I'm just keeping it real because it had so much humidity. It was awful. But now I use that, and that has been a huge blessing. I will say I don't have anything when I go swimming, but it was really cool because now they have like, I don't suggest this actually, but you know how your phones can go underwater with like the plastic baggie? And so I took my kids snorkeling a while ago and I used the little phone as much as I could. And I just was thinking about the video so we could watch the video later. It was the first time, y'all, that I got to hear my kids laughing and splashing at the same time. Like they were all like watching and I was having this meltdown moment. They're like, oh no, mom's doing it again. But it was so cool because I've never been able to hear them at the pool or the beach or any of that kind of stuff. So I wish to someday, because my hearing loss is so much, I wish to someday have that capability because I miss that. And water's not that fun for me. And so, and no, I was not allowed to wear my hearing aids in the snow, but it doesn't snow in Florida. I'm done.
All right, let's see. Um, probably have time for maybe one more question. There's a couple of questions that are asking, kind of what kind of supports do you wish were available that might not be available right now? Or is there anything like, what's one thing that you just wish you could wave a magic wand and have it and have it change? While you all are thinking about that, I got a couple of answers from Katie that I wanted to read. Going back to the question on for those who might not have as high level of independence, she recommends for those parents and those individuals to keep on working on milestones and take baby steps, because the baby steps are how we get to the bigger steps. So we should really celebrate those baby steps too. And then she also wore hearing aids in the snow. So Bethany, you're not alone. All right. So going back to other services that you wish were available, or supports, or things that you wish that you could change.
Both are muting at the same time, Simone. I'll go first, sure. I think right now the biggest struggle for me is I am a single mom of 3, amazing boys, like we said. And the weird spot that I find myself in is that with my degree of vision loss and hearing loss, I'm going through this like, well, like how to provide well for my kids, and still receive the services that I need. Like I still need the white cane training. I still in line to get a guide dog. You know what I'm saying? And so if I say, like, it's hard to know if I should like step out in a huge way and just say, I can find a different way. I can maybe pay for those services and then go do all the stuff. But then I don't know if I'll be able to support my kids. So it's in a weird place. It's like, it's like, literally I had somebody tell me this week, well, Bethany, you're just doing too good with all your disabilities. So you just need to decide if you're going to live this disability life or if you're going to live the non-disability life. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? And so as much as I feel, I really feel stuck. So I want to be the best mom I can be for my kids and I want to provide, yet at the same time, I still feel this pressure to choose a side, and I don't want to. And so I wish there was someone that could help some of us that, I don't like the word success. I don't like that at all. But those in wherever we're at to help guide, and let me know which way to go and some of that. I hope that makes sense. And also just for moms of kids, because I wish I would have known like just the idea of fire alarms, like what to have and different kind of phone systems and ways to help my kids out with homework. Like I wish I had somebody else to think outside the box with that. And I don't have that either. And so not complaining because I'm figuring out my own way and I'll start my YouTube channel one day. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll figure it out. So, okay, that's it.
for me, while I'm grateful for all the services and the excellent medical care and everything that comes with it, I just wish that I wish I had my own case manager. 'Cause it is hard being your own medical coordinator. I have a disability, which means that I have to go to the doctor more often. A chronic illness, which means I have to go to the doctor more often. I need medication. I need certain things. I need certain services. And while I'm able to advocate for myself and I'm able to call these places more independently because I have relay service, it is so overwhelming to to get the services, to get the doctor appointments, to call this doctor, okay, you need to come in, okay, you need a referral, to get my medical supplies, my medication. God forbid the insurance doesn't approve it, then I have to call the insurance company. They are more involved with the insurance company. I have to appeal this denial. They have to go to court, well, insurance court, to appeal this medication that I've had for 30 years. It's very overwhelming. And on top of trying to like, my friends don't have to worry about this. Okay? Nobody can relate to me because nobody is Simone. You know, and my friends they always are like, oh, every time I turn around here, oh, it's the doctor. Yeah, just when I need paperwork filled out. If not, wait, here's the paperwork. Well, you have to come in. They have to take time off work to come into the doctor. And for what? I just wish I had help to help me manage it all. Um, when my mother was alive, she took care of all of this. And my father, well, I talk to him every day. He's not very medically literate. So yeah, it's hard being your own case manager, but here I am.
Yeah, that is a lot to manage. Katie had said that she wishes that she had access to note takers, closed captioning when it's not available, and transcripts are all really helpful for being able to access information and kind of take part in conversations. And then there's one question that Katie had answered in the Q&A, so I just wanted to make sure that everyone got to see that. Someone had asked if any of them had played sports when they were younger, if parents encouraged them to play or do certain physical activities to help with stamina, balance, coordination. And Katie had said that she had done cross country in high school. Wasn't fast many times in last place, but did not hurt the team with her times. She improved her times, tried her best, and it was a really good sport for her to participate in. All right, so we are just past time. Want to be respectful of everyone's time. Thank you so much for our experts who joined us here today, and for our interpreters, and for all of our attendees. Man, this was seriously the most questions that we've gotten and asked the experts. So I think we'll have to do some more of these because there's questions that we didn't even get to. So thank you so much for everyone's participation. This is recorded, so you'll be able to get access to this after the fact. And if you have any ideas for other topics that you want us to do for Ask the Expert, feel free to email me at lily@chargesyndrome.org, and I'd be happy to try to make it happen. All right. So that's a wrap for today. Thanks, everyone.